My name is Virginia Henry, and I've been illegal evicted out of our house. And I guess you call it homeless because we got nowhere to go till you give me my house back. I don't know how many people they're gonna do this to, but me and my family need my house, okay? I have pain and suffering because I have been ill for a period of time here for a minute, and I don't like where the police slams me on the ground trying to make me 15 minutes in my house to get whatever I need. I still got on the same shoes with no shoes on. In clothes, I couldn't get anything out of the house, and they confiscated everything in the house with personal trucks and big trucks come and took all my stuff out of my house. And I couldn't even, had to stay across the street where they didn't even want me on the grounds in front of the house. I was arrested for trespassing in my own yard with the police department aiding and abetting with this situation, knowing that Countrywide and Bank of America got sued with Fannie Mae. And they think they're gonna walk away with my house, but they're not. The main thing is aiding and abetting with the police department going along with what's happening. Didn't want to see any of the deeds or the papers because the deeds are still in my name in some places in court here, and in other cases they have it where they took my name off of my deed, and I didn't think that was possible with the city of Rochester without notifying me that I don't own the house anymore. And no real eviction was done. He just gave me a 72-hour notice and a 15 minutes notice to get out my own house.
Why? What was the reason that you were evicted from your house?
They said that the former seller that sold me the properties, saying that he had a lien against the property when he sold me the property, but the same realtor sold me the property is Larry and ERA. They're the person that going through with the eviction, trying to resell my house before I even get out, or even before we straighten out this mess. He tells me he already got a sale for my house already.
I'm confused. You're being told that there is a lien against your house and that's why you have to get out?
He said that the seller, the person that sold me the property, Mark Lovewell, okay, saying that he owed some money or whatever. He never cleared the short sale. He did a short sale with me and to give me the property in the first place with deeds and everything. They saying that it was never cleared with Countrywide once they got sued. They put it on hold and never completed the process.
Can I say something about it? So it's our understanding that the previous homeowner, they foreclosed on the previous homeowner, and yet that she was living in the home. So legally it was transferred to Virginia and her daughter here.
Before they did anything at all.
Before they did that, and they foreclosed on this family. And no foreclosure papers were served to this family living in the home. And that's been checked out on the county. You can go look in the county. The affidavit of service was never served to this family. And then eviction papers for 11 Appleton were never served to the family. So on both cases, the people actually living in the house legally with owning the deed never were served any papers to go to court to defend themselves. No mortgage payments were given to the family. So whatever dispute there was between the former owner and Countrywide, Bank of America, is between them. And that they were living in this house and then they were railroaded out.
And they said they did not own my house.
And they made a number of different attempts, first to get in touch with Bank of America, and Bank of America said, we don't have anything to do with it, talk to Fannie Mae. And this was in June, and then Fannie Mae said, we don't have anything to do with the house either. So they made a number of attempts to reach out, and they were stonewalled. They didn't get anywhere with that. And then what they got was not only the marshal coming, but 10 police coming, shutting down the streets, 10 police cars. They taped off with crime tape, basically very similar to what happened about 3 months ago over on Ravenwood Avenue. And then they arrested Virginia in her own front yard, pushed her down, wrestled her down on the driveway, and she fainted. It was 98-degree weather, the hottest day of the year, and they took her to the
Highland Hospital.
Highland Hospital in handcuffs, and the people in the ambulance had to say, you have to get these handcuffs off. This woman, we have to give her medical care. But basically this situation is playing out all over the community, and we need to stand against these immoral foreclosures, and we need to expose what's going on everywhere. And we want to encourage people to stand up for themselves and to keep people in their homes. We should be encouraging people to stay in their homes. We need to fight homelessness and keep people in their homes throughout the community.
And I don't think it's right where the police told me that it was a civil matter to put their hands on me or force me out with the marshal when I'm trying to show them deeds to the house that in the papers from Fannie Mae saying I own the house. That wasn't good enough. They went along abetting with the marshal and the police department. and told me I better not come back on the grass of the house. And when they moved everything out of my house, I think I should have a right to know where they took my stuff, or me personally know how they wrapped my furniture up and did whatever they had to do. They didn't do none of these things. They violated every right that I had.
So is it a possibility that the sale was not legal?
No,
The
the
other
realtor
owner?
that's written this deal for me also worked for the same people that evicted me. Okay, he came back with the same people and the same Larry. How do you say his last name? Yes,
Maguli.
Maguli. Larry Maguli knows that we've been talking with him all the time, trying to straighten this out. This is not just starting right here. Countrywide and the Attorney General wrote me a letter informing me that Countrywide is being sued and that for false advertising, selling mortgages. I have it in writing that to watch out for this situation, that they should complete my short sale within a period of time. They totally wouldn't deal with me at all. They either came up with they didn't have authorization or they didn't have a HUD-1 from the seller. They came up with everything possible not to finish my house, no matter what I said that I would pay off his lien. Whatever his lien were, I was even willing to pay it off, and that wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough.
The house was transferred into her name, and nobody, to our knowledge, Countrywide, Bank of America, Fannie Mae, has challenged the legality of that. So, but it was passed in her name in 2007, 2008.
So this situation's been going on for
Since
4 years?
2007 and 2008. And every time, yeah, even longer really, because I started working on the house. It started in 2007 because I moved in to finish the house with the contractors. You know, having everyone else help me finish the house here.
But she was never notified that a foreclosure was going on, and never received papers to go to court to defend that.
So this was already in the process of foreclosure when she...
No, not at all. No, no. He wasn't in foreclosure when he sold me the houses. No, not at all.
No legal action taking place at the time. And everything that's significant in their case relates also to a Rochester lender developer who owns 8 unlicensed mortgage entities right here in Rochester, New York. One George E. Mercier, who owns 8 unlicensed mortgage companies that's been perfecting a loan-to-own scheme. And by attachment with all of these lenders and banks, such as Countrywide, and regardless of bank or lender or mortgage company, they're all affiliated in this scheme. And that's what we've been trying to get in the public since 2004. I've been on this case, on these cases since 2004, and there's not one politician in this city that can say that he's not complicit. They all knew. They all knew.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying that the politicians are corrupt here.
Tasha, over here.
They knew that this scheme was going on and playing out on people, regardless of race. I found over several hundred people. That's what led me to this lady, Catherine Lennon, and all the other people. I've been saying it for years. I got all the documents to prove it. I've even researched a lot of it through the banking and mortgage department in New York. A lot of these people are not even licensed to do what they're doing, but they're circumventing on the people, regardless of race.
So, but what are you saying that they are doing to people?
What I'm saying they're doing is displacing African American families and putting them in substandard living situations, such as what Catherine Lennon and Victoria Henry is going through. What they're doing is offering them, taking their houses and giving them substandard living in public houses, moving them out of the city and putting them out in the far, far suburbs. That's what they're doing.
I have one more.
And they also have the police agencies by contract. I got documents to prove that also, where there are straw men and judges. You can't get a lawyer anywhere in this state to fight any of this. No one can.
And then, do you want to say something
I
about
will
your
have
daughter?
something else. This is my daughter Tasha. They took her house 2 days before they took mine. When I came home from the hospital, when he first gave me the 72-hour notice, I went to her house to get the mail to see if they put one on that other house because this is in the same process. I want her to tell you what they did to her.
They took my house at 4648 Augustine Street, and when I came there, they had took everything out. The neighbors had said they seen them take the stuff out, but they didn't give me no notice, no nothing. They just, when I went there from visiting my mom in the hospital and everything, and I went over there to check the house, it was boarded up and everything was gone.
How is this legal?
It's not. And this is another situation where Fannie Mae bought these houses for $500 from the people who rightfully own the houses. And the only way we're going to change it is to shed light on the issues. And we need to call the judges together in Rochester. We need to have a moratorium on all these mortgage-related evictions, and we need to reevaluate the way that these foreclosures and evictions are being run through the city, and people are being run out of the houses, because the banks are just operating with complete impunity. But if we come together as a city, and city council, the mayor, and the judges get together, and the community, we can stop this from happening. We can keep people in their homes, encourage home ownership, and make housing a human right in this community.
We want to say something about the role of the police. My name is Howard Eagle, and I am a representative of Rochester's Police Accountability Coalition. What we want to make very clear to the police in this community, from Chief Shepard on down, we know there's been a lot of controversy recently, especially around the Emily Berry case, our county legislator Willie Lightfoot case, and the whole issue of racial profiling. It's obvious, it's clear that some police in this community think that they can abuse people, particularly people of color, in terms of what they did to Miss Henry and what they've done to other people in this community as it relates to brutalizing them and violating their constitutional rights. That's not going to be tolerated. We're going to organize against it. Now, the chief has said that racial profiling is not going on, that that's not happening in Rochester. We know it is, and we intend to produce people with many stories about what's being done to them. But the point is, it has to stop, and we don't care what the chief of the police union has to say, because he's very flip about all of this. And
he wouldn't even come, and I called him.
And in fact, very racist himself. And so it doesn't matter to us what he's saying or what anyone else is saying, but we do want to work with Chief Shepard to bring a halt to this. It's not going to be tolerated. I just want to say it straight. As a black man, as a father, and I speak for other black men in this community in particular.
I'm one of them.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm another.
We're not going to tolerate the police abusing black women. We're not going to tolerate them abusing anyone, but particularly black women. They're not going to come and slam black women on the ground, and then that's just the end of it.
And put
that
charges on her.
has to stop.
Trespassing charges.
Yeah, they gave her trespassing
And
charges.
I want to raise the question, why were 10 police cars called in a civil situation? 10 police cars?
Yeah, he told Tasha it was silver, so why would
He
you
told
need
me
to?
it was silver.
By her
It
house,
was what?
if it's silver,
It was silver,
say
it
they
doesn't
didn't need
matter.
to do anything,
but
didn't
I'm
want to
saying,
give a
well, 10
report.
police cars.
You know, when she called about her house,
Marshall
they didn't
called.
want to give a report about they throwing
Marshall
all those things out the house. I said, no, we need to document this. He says, it's a silver matter. We don't have to document anything for your daughter. But he did write a police report that they emptied, threw everything out the house.
Marshall Sandy is the one that called the Rochester police here.
And they staged the police officer in the house. So
And they wouldn't even let my mom go in her house. They told me to stay in the house and do on notary and stay in there, but I stayed in there and watched them put everything in boxes, but they wouldn't even let my mom come across the street. They said they didn't even want to talk to her, no nothing. They didn't let her sign for her furniture. They didn't let her get no clothes, nothing out of there. They had me and my daughter standing there while they did everything.
My baby was crying.
And my baby
what is
was
your name?
crying, Latasha.
Is it L-A capital T-A-S-H-A? Same last name?
Goins, G-O-I-N-S. And my baby watched them while they put the handcuffs and slammed my mom on the ground. And she's 10 years old.
Did anybody record this, like on cell phone
No,
video? Or?
because when they had the recorders, that police kept telling them to put the recorders down. You can't record, and they made everybody that was taking recorders that was on the side leave the scene. And he kept calling for more cops. But we
Even though
called
there was a
Shepard,
big
he
case
wouldn't
with
come.
this just
Even
recently.
when you came across the street, he called 8 more cops. When you
Yeah.
said he was coming over to look at what was happening.
Yeah, I came the next day, and I was reporting, and I just said, what's going on here? And they immediately called 6 police officers over across the street.